As usual, this video is going to refer to a solution that I'm proposing that I'm going to summarize quickly here and then move on to some new content. I'm proposing that we put in place a very robust vetting system of our politicians, and I call that system the grill. The grill is a once-a-month, 3-hour-long interrogation of the politician while they're running for office and while they're in office. If you want more details or more context, you can click on my profile and look for the grill overview video. Now on to the new stuff. I want to address a theme that has come up in the comments section, and that is people are losing hope that government will ever be reformed due to the amount of corruption in our political system. I'm going to go through what I believe to be the 3 biggest access points of corruption in our government, and I'm going to give a quick reform or solution. It will not be detailed. And right after that, I'm going to tie it all together and show how the grill can help reduce corruption and hopefully in the meantime give you some more hope and lift your spirits. The first reform that comes to mind would be imposing term limits on members of Congress. If you can be in office for 10 to 50 years as a career politician, the longer you're in that corrupt system, the more likely you are to be corrupted. Maybe in your first year, you're clean. Your second year, you take 1 or 2 bribes. Your third year, you take 5 bribes. Not only do you increase the amount of nefarious activity, but you up the ante because you're emboldened to commit more and more riskier corruption as you go. Term limits would shorten that curve that could take place if you're in office for, let's say, 3 or 4 decades. Another benefit to term limits has to do with how it affects the special interest groups. These special interest groups look to bribe our politicians, but I think it's conceivable to argue that the hardest part for them is when a new politician comes into the fray. It's tough to establish that corrupt relationship. After you establish it, then you can kind of keep it going. It's easy to do. But if new politicians are always coming into the mix because of term limits, then those special interest groups have to keep doing the hardest part of the process to corrupt our politicians. The second reform would be regarding insider trading. Very often, politicians will make decisions that's not in the best interest of the people that voted them in, but rather to pad their own wallets and portfolios. So a very simple solution would be, while politicians are running for office, and while they're in office, and even up into 1.5 years to 2 years out of office, they cannot trade individual stocks, bonds, they can't have money move around in a mutual fund, a brokerage account, you name it. And I would even go as far to say that we would post their financials on a website so that people can see in real time the changes that take place. And if you don't like that, you should not run for office. The third reform has to do with campaign finance. Politicians will often choose A over B, not because it helps the people that voted them in, but because it somehow pays back the people that donated money to their campaigns. This completely undermines our entire system. This is where the most corruption takes place. So here's my oversimplified solution. No one, no company, no lobbyist, no group, no individual, no territory, no country, no one, nothing can contribute or donate money to a person who is running for political office. Period. You get no money whatsoever. Do we really need to see politicians going out in person to shake hands and kiss babies and cut ribbons for opening ceremonies? None of that means anything. We'll pay for all that if you get into office. In the meantime, with technology today, we can give you free airtime. There's a lot of different ways to broadcast yourself. You could even appear on The Grill, where you could get free airtime and show people how smart you are or how dumb you are. If you want to spend money on your own campaign, you can do that. Now, I realize it's an unequal playing field because rich people would be able to have more robust campaigns, but let them put their money where their mouth is. And we would still have a challenge with the media perhaps giving more airtime to certain politicians over another. I realize these are all simplified solutions, and even when they're detailed, they won't get rid of 100% of the corruption, but they will at least put us on higher ground than where we stand right now. Let's take all of that and let's connect it to the Grill project and how the Grill can help usher in the reforms that we just mentioned. I'm going to try to draw as straight of a line as possible. Any kind of government you can think of is sensitive to mass public opinion. Mass public opinion is when, let's say, 85 to 95% of the public agree on one or a set of ideas or reforms, such as the 3 that I just mentioned. Whether you're from the left or the right, it would be difficult to find a person that would say, say, yeah, career politicians are never corrupt, no need for term limits. And of course, politicians aren't doing things just to please the people that gave money to their campaign and got them elected in the first place. No need for any of that campaign finance reform. You would be hard-pressed to find people like that. And governments know that. That's why they put out topics that they know we're divided on, so that we never get a chance to really just isolate the things that we all have in common. The news cycle also helps the government. A point of corruption comes up on the news, and it's celebrated for like a week and a half, and then it just goes away, and we all forget. And yet that problem consistently on us going forward. The only way to get hundreds of millions of people to see the common ground that they have is to put a spotlight on that subject with the people that have some power over those subjects and reforms, with the people that have some involvement with the corruption that we're trying to extinguish, and to make them vulnerable on a regular basis. So what the Grill is looking to do is to usurp the news cycle. You need to keep spotlighting the same issues over and over and over again to keep it top of mind for the general public, to have an effective mass public opinion. Share this video, like it, comment on it, go back to the Grill overview video, do the same. Thanks for watching, and I hope to talk to you soon.